But yeah, and just kind of composition is important, but this is not really what we're talking about in here. Um, yeah, I think part of just to briefly touch on composition, my biggest belief is always filling up the frame as much as possible and getting close. Like I think there's something so powerful about getting close to someone, and and I think that kind of shows a lot of what they're sort of allowing you to do also, and it builds on that trust, and it just shows personality. I just think it's a great thing. But like a lot of times, I also spend some time individually and getting them sort of to get comfortable and have some fun and be playful and smile and just kind of like become unaware of the camera as much as possible. Because at the end of the day, you know, like I'm gonna get some cool frames, and all the frames, all the keepers are just in between. So me just kind of silling it, being silly with him and also with them together. And you'll see the ones that are kind of look like they're fully edited. Those are the ones that I ended up keeping. But as you can see, there's a lot of the whole sequence of things that just they were not keepers, but they were still part of the process. And I'm sort of like watching for them. Getting to that spot of comfort. So, but with that said, I don't want to make this video terribly long. But what I will say is, I'll go to the very end of this session, and so we ended up going to the downtown area, and we grabbed a few more photos here and there. Then we walked around. We did some more portraits by the fountain, and walking around, we played around with the flag and with people and interacting, and that kind of gets him also like realizing that I am going to incorporate people. We're going to be around people, and I'm not shy to let an opportunity come in. Like the goal in here, for example, I saw this flag being hit by the sun. I was like, there's got to be something there. So we just went there, and then this gentleman, I told him to go behind the flag, and then this gentleman just came out and pulled the flag out of there. He was like, hey, well, you can't see them. So like, I got a couple of photos of them just kind of enjoying that, and then I just kind of took advantage of him, just being part of my frame and just being part of that situation. I just never know what you're gonna get, and I think I got a couple of interesting frames that I liked out of it. Um, so yeah, so just never know. I'll try anything. I was telling them, like, I don't know, I like something there. I don't know if it's gonna work. Let's go. And it's a process. It's 2 hours, for God's sake. And I always explain to them that on the wedding day, we're not gonna have that kind of time. Most of the time on wedding days, I have like about 15 minutes, like maybe, like at the most with the bride and groom, if that. The last wedding I think I shot, the sun was literally going down. I think I had like maybe like 5 minutes with them. And someone like that, I'll tell them, hey, listen, come and meet me on my side of town. We'll do some more and we'll have some fun. But at the end of the day, I know I got at least a few photos that they'll be from the wedding day and that they'll love. And the rest of the time, they got to enjoy themselves, or at least not stress out because we're not going to have time, or the hour of the ceremony was not the best time, or they got moved by the venue later, or whatever the case may be, like they ran late, anything like that. I don't want you to think about it. I don't want you. The last thing I want anyone to worry about is like time to give me. So yeah, so we found an alleyway. I wanted to do something sitting with them, so we found a cool alleyway, and it was like next to a salon, so it was a tiny little back alleyway to who knows, to where they put their garbage or something. But it just looked kind of simple and clean and good, and I wanted to get them to a point where I got them to sit on the ground. So we did some playful things. So some of these shots are kind of fun because I wanted them to sort of like play with their hair. I love their hair, so like I just wanted them to just whip their hair around. So they kind of got a kind of kick out of it. But eventually, my goal was to get them to sit down when we came into this alleyway, and she was not comfortable. So I told him, hey, sometimes you gotta sacrifice comfort, but just get in there and just have some fun. And I think we got some really cool shots of them. And this couldn't have happened at the beginning. Being uncomfortable and being sort of like not comfortable in front of the camera and being physically uncomfortable because of the sitting position or whatever. When it worked, But in this point, they were already having fun a little bit, and they were smelling victory, sort of like the end of the shoot, and so am I, really. And at the end of the day, honestly, like, it's not just about comfort for them, it's about comfort for both of us. Like, I need to feel comfortable, like, I don't necessarily feel 100% comfortable the first time I shove a camera in somebody's face if I don't know them. So it's a process. I always tell them it's a process. It's a symbiotic process. So for both of us. So, but so yeah. So we were able to get some cool photos. Just almost like climbing on each other, and by this point you can see like like he's definitely in a different place. Like his face shows something different. Like he's there in the space. He's not as self-conscious. Like when you have photos like this, we would not gotten this photo at the beginning of the day. So all this kind of stuff is super important. And as you can see, I shoot quite a lot. Sometimes I shoot too much, but in this session, I kind of needed it. We kind of spent a lot of time actually. So we hit a lot of different spots. So that was part of it. But I mean, pretty intimate photos, in my opinion. And I think they just kind of happen through the process. They don't happen by themselves. They don't happen by just telling people what to do. So we found a couple of spots. If I find a spot that I'm like, I think, for example, it's like it could be cool, but I quickly realize the light sucks and it's not that cool, I'll shoot like literally a series of photos and I'll be like, out like this one. So I'd be like this. I'm not really getting anything there. I'll just move on really fast and maybe this one or two to pick. I love that jumpsuit she has. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so then we hit the park again, and then on the way back, this is the part I wanted to show you. I wanted to hit some kind of break, and I couldn't find anything. Like, I mean, this corner of downtown is okay, but it wasn't that great. I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do now? And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm going to go do a couple shots and just go. And then I'm like walking down the way. I'm like, oh, this spot is kind of cool. I like this tree. Believe it or not, I stopped here because I'm like, I like this bush. This little tree growing out of the ground. Like, how cool is that? Like out of the cement. Like it's this full flesh, bush. And I just loved it. And by then, check this out. By then, they were so comfortable. Like I said, just go over there. Like I even told them, just go between the bush and the little circle. And they went there, and I got some really cool shots. I think I kept most of these. Like I just loved it. Like they started making out. Like that would never happen at the beginning. Like I if I can get a couple to French by the end of the session, I think I've done good. Like that's pretty good. Like people don't even French comfortably alone. So like to French in front of a camera, that's fantastic. So yeah. So these photos are like my favorites. Like and I think that's part of the process. Most of the session I'm shooting with a 35 and a 24. To be honest with you, I don't really bring anything else for engagement sessions. I bring a tilt. I don't even think I used it, which sometimes I'm like, I love my tilt. I can't get rid of it, but a lot of times the only lenses I really use is my 35, my 24, my tilts, maybe 10% of the time, 5% of the time during a wedding, and my 135 another 5% of the time or 10% of the time during usually mostly the ceremony. But it is a great lens to like do the opposite of this. So like opposites, like wide or like ultra close, like take pictures of lips or like anything, just an eye or a tear, anything like that is always cool. So isolation and an isolation that you can't get from a wider lens. But by the time we got over here, like I'm like, we're literally leaving. It's already almost no sun. I was like, oh man, I really want this fence. Like I just sit over there, guys, and I literally just had them sit there, and we got these. They were already playing for the camera. They were having fun. They were being together. They didn't really need a whole lot of direction. They kind of knew what I was heading to. I freaking love this shot. It just doesn't feel forced, and it just feels fantastic to me. And that's the goal, I guess, at the end of the day, And cars kept coming, so I took advantage of that. Those are headlights of cars turning that corner in front of us. And some of those shots kind of turned out pretty dope, like they feel like, they were shot like, with a flash or some kind of a light, but I wasn't. So, but this shot just kind of happened at the end. And just never know. Just never know. Whenever you have a place or something you want to try, don't hesitate because just anything can happen, kind of sort of magic happens at the least expected moment. So that's it. That's pretty much all I got for you guys. Someone's calling. Hopefully a destination wedding. Somewhere fantastic. But anyway, that's it. So I hope that this was helpful. It wasn't too long. I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, like too wordy, dude." Because I had some dude tell me that once, and I was like, "Yeah, you'd be right about that." So I give you the disclaimer at the beginning, and but hopefully, if you stuck to the end, you learned something. And I do have a workshop coming up, probably at the beginning of the 2017. I've been working on this for a little bit, and I'm still sort of deciding on what the topics are going to be. But it's going to be this kind of stuff, a lot about approach and about technique and how to get photos and live shooting and all that kind of stuff. It's basically a shooter's workshop. No business side of things. Um, it's just going to be about shooting, about sort of finding your voice and figuring out what you want to say with your images, what you know what did that entail in order to say it, and how to just find your own voice. To be honest with you, like I feel that I finally have a voice of my own. I'm getting more comfortable with it. I'm trying to pursue it further, um, and I'm trying to be uncompromised about it. So that way, if someone's looking for something different, or if anyone's looking for inspiration, they come to me rather than me trying to be like someone else. In what kind of inspiration would I be for anyone else as well? So it's mostly that, and hopefully, you'll hear announcements in the next couple of months, and I hope I get to meet some of you guys, some new people there, and let me know if there's any questions. All right. So thank you. Have a awesome day and night.